Final warning, if I catch you making any more of those goddamn devil videos in my house, embarrassing me,
But it's what the Bible and Jesus says.
don't get smart with me and change this to about loving Jesus. You know damn well what I meant. I don't want all this nut house talk about devil this, devil that, how the devil runs the world.
This is incredible.
Finally, openly talking about my biggest fear I have in life. There's one thing I fear in life, and I can't even tell you how unbelievable a fear this is. I fear losing God's favor. It's the biggest fear I have. And by the way, the only reason I share that with you is because when I look at that flag, I think America, for God knows how many years, has been known as the greatest country in the world, has forgotten, no longer fears losing God's favor. We are now afraid to pray in schools.
Tuesday, we announced anybody that buys the Future Looks Bright hats and the gear, and we said we want 1 million people wearing this gear during these strange times. We want people walking around saying, hey, I believe future looks bright, and getting the reaction from other people when you wear that shirt.
But mark this, there will be terrible times in the last days. People will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, without love, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not lovers of the good, treacherous, rash, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power. Have nothing to do with such people. They are the kind who worm their way into homes and gain control over gullible women.
He has my back, and if you ask me what's one of my biggest fears, one of my biggest fears in my life is losing his favor. I can't tell you how much that scares the hell out of me. Because to me, in life, when you get a person that has your back, and they have your back like you've seen endless times they've had your back, you take that for granted and you lose it, you're a fool. So you've had my back. You've given me this life. And one of the Future Looks Bright shirts.
As Jesus was sitting on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately. Tell us, they said, when will this happen? And what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? Then you will be handed over to be persecuted and put to death, and you will be hated by all nations because of me. At that time many will turn away from the faith and will betray and hate each other, and many false prophets will appear and deceive many people. Because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold. For then there will be great distress, unequaled from the beginning of the world until now, and never to be equaled again. If those days had not been cut short, no one would survive.
You picked a black or white Future Looks Bright hat.
Patrick Bet David said his biggest fear is losing God's favor. God says the end of the world things go from bad to worse. Patrick Bet David ignores that. Patrick preaches and profits from selling the future looks bright. How can Patrick contradict God's prophecies and not be in fear of losing God's favor by publicly preaching a different future?
You picked a black or white Future Looks Bright hat.